Live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us live. And if you watch it on the replay, this is episode 4 of Paving the Way. I'm JB.
I'm Patrick Mullen.
And today we are joined by Seth Maxey. Say hello, Seth.
Hello, Seth.
Seth is Seth's a member of the B&M family. He's been with us since 2016. He came on with a lot of asphalt experience and added a new division to the company that we did not have prior to that. He has a lot of knowledge. He's got a lot of experience. He's shared a lot of that with me over the years, and I'm hoping that we can bring him on here to share a lot of that with you. So, Seth, can you tell us a little bit about, your background, maybe a little bit like your origin story, so we know where you're coming from?
I can do my best. Like you said, my name is Seth Maxey. I'm originally from the Northern California area. I spent my whole life here. I moved back to the Sacramento area in 2001 after spending 4 years in the United States Air Force. While in the Air Force, I basically did pavements and heavy equipment, everything I'm doing in today's day and age. So I did my 4 years in the military, got out, moved into Sacramento in 2001, and I've been doing asphalt here ever since, basically doing anything from potholes to driveways to mainline paves on highways. So I feel my knowledge in the asphalt experience, I can answer most any question coming to me. So moving forward, I look to get a lot of questions here from that.
On that note, feel free to drop your questions in the comments section, or you can go ahead and email us, Facebook, Instagram, or direct email, whatever's easier for you.
Perfect. So let's get us started. A couple things I want to bring up is, one, we're going to introduce slides today, which we've never done. And since neither of us are tech capable,
this should be fun.
It will be an adventure. We'll see how that goes. Another thing that I'd like to point out is I always like to say that I like to surround myself with much smarter people than myself. I think that's why we're successful, because I'm always looking for people who know a lot more than me. And as always, you guys know Pat knows way more than me. But so does, I guess he's over here. So does Seth. Seth has a lot more knowledge than me, especially in this area. I've learned a lot from him. I'm really excited for you guys to hear the things that he has to say. So we're going to move forward with that. All right, so why don't we start with why asphalt? Like, why would someone want to put asphalt in, and what are the benefits of actually doing asphalt?
To answer that question, today's day and age, everybody sees the gas pumps, the price going up at the gas pumps, and asphalt is an oil-based product. So I'd like to say that asphalt has always been a less expensive approach to either doing parking lots, driveways, or roadways. But today's day and age, the price is going up a little bit more, but it is still less expensive than concrete.
And the cost of concrete's been going up a lot too. Just so everybody knows, we get trucks of concrete basically daily, every single day, and we're being hit with surcharges on the cement. It started out as a per load, now it's a per cubic yard surcharge. Price of asphalt's going up too, and there's not much we can do about that, but it still is going to be significantly less expensive than doing concrete.
I think a lot of people are probably used to that now too. I mean, prices are going up on everything.
Yeah. Hard to stay away from it.
Yeah. Okay. So what other
to get away from the negative side of everything, getting all prices raising up in today's day and age, to dealing with asphalt, it's a lot faster to construct. We can come in and we can do a parking lot, we can have it paved and open to the public in one day. Whereas in concrete, you have a lot of setup. It takes a lot longer to pour, plus a lot longer to cure to open up to traffic. So therefore it's a lot faster to construct a project or to open it back up to the general public, as far as your business is going and everything else. So those are the top benefits of why we want to choose asphalt over concrete, is just mostly your cost, how fast we can get it done, and how fast we can open it back up to the general public.
Generally speaking, if we were to pour a driveway in concrete, it's going to take us a day to set it up and a day to pour it, and then you want a minimum of 7 days cure time. A lot of companies will tell you stay off of it for 28 days because that's how long it takes to fully cure out and hit its high strength. Before that, you are taking risks of stress fractures in the concrete, basically cracks, that don't ever go away. So it's always best with concrete to wait until it's had enough time to cure out before you put any heavy loads on it. Where with asphalt, as soon as it's cured, as soon as it's cooled down to around
150 degrees.
Yeah, you can let traffic right on it with no issues. So that's a big benefit for a lot of businesses, especially like we've mentioned in the past, Dutch Brothers or anybody, any types of businesses that can't afford to close their driveway for a week.
Perfect. Are there different kinds of asphalt? Like what are the different kinds of asphalt you get, or is it all just one kind of asphalt, Seth?
Dealing with asphalt, there's a numerous different types of asphalt you see in roadways now. They deal with a lot of open grade asphalt to let the water drain through it. But like I said, that's more of your highway paving. When coming into parking lots, playgrounds, driveways, it's going to be more of a personal preference. You can use a smaller aggregate, such as a 3/8 inch aggregate or a half inch aggregate, to give you more of a smoother, prettier surface where it looks a lot tighter on the surface. Or you can move up to a larger aggregate, like a 3/4 inch aggregate in your asphalt. You'll have a little coarser surface presence there where it looks a little more coarse on the surface, but the strength using the larger aggregate is second to none compared to a half inch or a 3/8.
If you're going to be doing like a walking path or like you mentioned, sport courts, a lot of time they'll pave those with a 3/8 inch aggregate because it's smaller. It keeps the finished surface tighter and gives just an overall more aesthetically pleasing appearance.
And the key there that he said there was a walking path. You'll see it a lot in the playgrounds at the elementary schools where they're not going to have it open to vehicle traffic. It's going to be mostly all foot traffic. Therefore, a 3/8 inch aggregate won't give you the strength that a 3/4 inch aggregate will, but it will give you a lot prettier surface to look at.
Very nice. Do you want to add something? I heard you.
No, I mean, a lot of the parking lots, most of the time we'll pave parking lots with half inch because you get the strength out of it and you get the clean, crisp look of new asphalt, not a lot of rock pockets in it. Overall, just a pleasing look.
What kind of damages do we see a lot of? Like, I mean, we've done a lot of repairs over the last 5 years that you've been with us and a lot before that also. What do you think we see the most as repairs in parking lots?
When it comes to repairs, the faster you can catch a repair, the cheaper the fix is going to be. I like to explain asphalt is basically like you buying a new car. If you do the upkeep and you change the oil and you do everything you're supposed to do on it, the longer that life is going to last. Asphalt's going to be the same way. If you can catch, smaller deficiencies in your parking lot, if you see standing water anywhere where the water's not draining to where it goes, that's just going to be a potential problem. Anytime water can get into that subgrade and cause a subgrade to damage asphalt, being a flexible pavement, will sink and will crack and deteriorate over time. So a lot of things that you want to look for will be the standing water. You want to catch cracks early before they start spreading.
So I don't mean to cut you off, Seth, but I want to get a little crazy here and see if we can do some graphics. Ready? With some slides. You want to do the finger snap? Is that what you said? It's not going to work, but yeah. See, that was beautiful.
Thank you, Miss Producer.
Great production value right there. We appreciate that. Except that, there we go. My screen went black. Oops. Okay, so I think what we're talking about there with the repairs and and things like that. I thought maybe we could show some pictures real quick of what parking lots look like and the rating systems that we've built with our site assessment report that we can give. So with a rating number 1, this is the first rating that we have. We would say this is, Seth, would you say this is basically a brand new parking lot that has just been paved?
This is going to be something that is just paved. Everything's still nice and tight. It's a great looking parking lot at this point in its life.
So how long left to do?
Can my parking lot always look like this? That's my question. Your parking lot, depending on how much work you put into it, it can remain. Parking lots should last in upwards of 30 years if you put the right attention to it and do the right upkeep.
All right. Let me switch to number 2 in the rating. This is number 2 and 3. They kind of bridge together. So 2 is when your parking lot's probably, I'm going to say, like 4 to 5 years old. Do you agree with that?
It's
Maybe a little earlier.
maybe a little earlier. I would say number 2, you're probably going to be in that 2-year range. This is probably when you want to start getting out and doing your first kind of inspections. If you had just gotten a new pave, looking for cracks, cleaning everything. You want to keep the dirt off of the surface as best as possible. And that number 2 is it's now you want to start watching for things because that ground is going to constantly move on you.
What I want to point out too, and we've kind of said it, we'll say it again, we're going to say it 1,000 times, we can never say it enough, is that cracks are the problem with your parking lot. Cracks are going to be the root of all failures that you will have because it gets back to the subgrade, which we're kind of mentioning. We'll talk about, I think, a little more. But cracks are the problem. So what we're trying to do is prevent those cracks from turning into bigger problems. So Seth, can you explain what a seal coat actually is? Explain what a seal coat is and what it does to protect the parking lot or the asphalt.
Going back to my earlier statement about maintenance of a vehicle and changing your oils, a seal coat is just like that. It's a routine maintenance. I would suggest doing a seal coat roughly about every 3 to 5 years, depending on the traffic that you have in your parking lot, roadway, driveway, etc. Basically, what a seal coat does is it will seal the surface of your asphalt. It'll give it a uniform look. You'll go through before a seal coat. Any cracks you do have, you'll want to do a hot rubber crack fill to fill those to prevent any water from getting to your subgrade. The longer we can keep water off of your subgrade, that, like I said, you'll hit that 25, 30-year mark on your parking lot. A seal coat is that preventative maintenance program.
Could you compare a seal coat to like painting the house? Like if you're going to paint your house every 5 years, to keep the water from getting through the paint, is a seal coat kind of doing the same thing?
Absolutely. You'll have sun damage on all your siding on your house. You'll get sun damage just in asphalt. Asphalt is a black product. Therefore, it's going to absorb a lot more heat and hold the heat.
And when that's happening, you're also kind of baking the oils out of the product, which over time make the asphalt more brittle, more prone to cracking. So the seal coat helps keep the oils in the asphalt itself, and also protect it from, if you have a parking lot, cars park, they drip oil, they drip fuel. Those are very bad for the asphalt. They literally eat the asphalt. They break down the other oils in the asphalt, opening the grade up and allowing it to just deteriorate much, much faster than if you had a nice seal coat on it. Then the fuel and the oils that are dripping are going to be eating the seal coat, not your asphalt.
Okay, so let's move on to rating number 3. So the cracking seal coat looks like on this lot, seal coat has not been done. We've moved on to some more severe or some larger cracks. You can tell, I can see from this picture, water is going to get into those cracks when the rain starts. It almost looks like actually a ponding area is starting to happen. Is that what you're seeing there?
That's what I see as well. And like I said, with those cracks starting to appear the way they are there, what we would do in this situation is we'd come in with some high pressure air. We would clean out the cracks, get all the dirtiness out of the cracks, and fill that with a hot rubber crack fill, like I said, which will prevent any of the new waters getting into your subgrade. Once the crack fill's done, you can cover that number 3 with a seal coat, and your parking lot will then be uniform again with a new stripe. It looks like a brand new parking lot, and you just got yourself another year or 2 of brand new looking parking lot.
So I know ponding is good when you're 17 driving through the parking lot, splashing water everywhere. But is ponding good for the asphalt?
Absolutely not.
All right. I just wanted to make sure we got that out there. Let's move on to the next one, because ponding.
Real quick, there is a couple different types of crack filling, not just the hot rubber. There's also a colder, a material that you put down that doesn't require being heated up. There's benefits to both. The hot rubber crack filling is definitely more expensive, and you're going to do that when you have more extensive damage. If you only have a couple of cracks, smaller cracks need to get filled, you can get away with using a cold mixture to
crack sealer.
Yeah, a cold crack sealer just to seal those up. But if you're working with something that has more cracks that are already there and they're all the way through, then yes, hot rubber is definitely going to be the way to go.
I think we can all agree, though, the key to that is catching it early, catching these cracks when they're first forming and getting them sealed.
Definitely.
Water in the cracks will make them bigger. I mean, that's just kind of how it works.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to move on to rating number 4. I think we can kind of push through these ones. This is as it's getting worse and worse. As you can see, if you haven't figured it out, 4 is bad, 5 is worse, 6 is going to be even more worse. So
even more worse.
Even more worser. More worser. Sorry. Pardon my grammar. It's going to be more worser. So 4, I see that there's some good size cracking going on there. It's starting to link together, and we have a term for this called alligatoring, where it's starting to turn into, looks kind of, we reference it to alligator skin. It's starting to all connect and look like those little areas. So when it rains, all of those cracks are letting water go down to your subbase. So what would be a suggested repair for this?
When we get into situations like this where there is alligatoring, as JB just explained, if most of the time that's going to have a depression in that area, because once it gets to alligatoring, that means that water has been leaking into that area for some time now. So there's usually going to be a depression. There's probably going to be even standing water on it. Now, if you keep it going like that every time you drive a car across that, all those little pieces in there inside the alligator skin, they move. As they move, it opens up the crack wider. It allows more water to get in.
We've literally seen these grow over a 1-year period, from going out and measuring to give a proposal to them wanting to sign the contract the next year, and it's 50% bigger in 1 year. That's a lot of added costs that if you stay ahead on your maintenance, you can definitely save yourself some time and some money. And
heavier rain years are going to be a lot worse on the parking lot. I mean, the more it rains, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah. Like he was saying, if you've got this alligatoring, a lot of the time your base material, the material that the asphalt is sitting on, is not good anymore. It's got too much water in it. So it can, what they call pump, where it literally will move as you drive cars across it, just making it worse and worse.
Which makes it crack even more. It just keeps perpetuating itself.
And so that can get bigger and bigger as well. And there's a couple different ways you can fix that. We can dig it out. We can replace that material with base rock. We could rip it and let it dry and then recompact the dirt. Or one of my favorites is just a lime treat or cement treat the areas that are pumping. It's a quick fix and it will last forever. It turns your subgrade into basically concrete almost.
So we also have a section I want to talk about, which I kind of passed up, about damages, what causes them. We'll get back to that after, but that's going to tie in with a lot of what we're talking about now too, and the subgrade. No, that was my fault. We were just talking about it.
Okay.
I messed up again. Not Pat, that was me. So number 5. So number 5, if you read in the description, it kind of says get an asphalt overlay. I think that for rating 5 is more, Seth, you correct me if I'm wrong. I think when we're getting into just having some asphalt replacement, some larger asphalt replacement, right? And no, I'm sorry.
Larger sections of asphalt replacement.
Larger section of asphalt replacement and an overlay.
And base repairs.
Yes, and overlay.
That is correct. If I can jump back to number 4, a lot of those are going to be kind of centrally located or individually located. So a lot of those in number 4, we will just be able to remove those sections and reprocess the subgrade, and then be able to give you a seal coat and a restripe over your entire parking lot. Moving into number 5 now, where the cracks are getting a little bit more severe, you're still going to have to remove and replace any spots where the alligatoring is really loose
and pumping
and moving. We'll have to remove those areas, repair the subgrade, and then in a situation like this, we can do what is an overlay, where we just come over and put a new 1.5 inches of brand new asphalt, 2 inches of brand new asphalt over the existing parking lot that's there. We can use a Petromat fabric that goes over the existing parking lot in that condition, and it's just a paving fabric that we pave over. And what that fabric does is it acts as a bridge in between your existing parking lot and your new asphalt, which will prevent, or hopefully prevent, a lot of these cracks from reflecting through to your new asphalt. That's the whole purpose of the Petromat. We can also add a fiber.
I think that Petromat is what's been around for a long time, right? They've been using Petromat for,
Petromat has been around a long time. I couldn't tell you when it came out or anything like that.
So I think now what the point I was trying to get at is I think there's more products now that are kind of changing things, making things easier, and can kind of it gives us more options. And this is where we like to educate people. We like to make sure that we're getting our customers set up so they understand all the information so that they can make educated decisions on their parking lots. So I know you're going to kind of jump into the fiber stuff, which I will let you jump into, but I just want people to understand a lot of people aren't talking about these other products and these other solutions and ways to either save money, to make the products last longer, to get a better finished product. And these are things that we're looking into. We're always talking and speaking with vendors and going to the shows so we can find these new products, because we want to be able to educate our customers on the best solutions so you can make the best decision. So Seth, why don't you go on with the fiber and explain how that differs from the Petromat?
So today's asphalt, when we add fiber, it's basically like a Kevlar that gets added into the asphalt mix as it's being made. It's basically going to serve the same purpose as a Petromat fabric. It's just ground up now and in the asphalt. It adds tensile strength to the asphalt, so it's basically going to prevent the bottom existing asphalt from still cracking and separating, but it will not do that with the top asphalt as the fibers are holding it together.
Or it'll last a lot longer until you start to see those cracks come through. This Kevlar type of fiber that he's talking about, we've sat down with their reps and looked at case studies that they've done over the years, where they've had municipalities, I think it was Los Angeles even, overlaying one side of a road with Petromat and the other side of the road using only fiber. And the fiber side, 5 years later, looks 10 times better and much, much newer than the side that had the Petromat overlay.
Fiber is actually being used in places all over too. It's not just like it's a new thing. We went to the World of Asphalt 2 years ago, I think it was, Seth.
Yes.
They had a whole, it was in Indianapolis, and they had a whole bus that they rented out to bring vendors from the show to the Indianapolis Speedway. Is that what?
Speedway, correct.
To show them where their product had been placed. I think it was like 2 or 3 years earlier, because they wanted to show. They had cut sections of the asphalt, because I think their asphalt out there was 20 to 30 inches thick because they'd been building up on it for years. But they could show where their fiber was in that cut section, and they wanted to show how it holds up. And I mean, no one's getting the kind of pressure on their asphalt like those speedways are. They're putting a lot of pressure on that with a lot of movement. So they have some pretty impressive product.
And another thing with the fiber as well, if you do have a parking lot that's open to larger vehicles, truck parking lots, delivery warehouses, where a lot of times people will tell you need 4 or 5 inches of asphalt, just regular asphalt. You can do a 4-inch asphalt and pave 3 inches of asphalt with fiber. The strength is going to be very comparable. So you'd be able to save, you're going to pay a little bit more money to add the fiber into it, but in the long run, you're going to save money not paving that extra inch of asphalt, because the strength will be there in 3 inches.
The same thing goes with if you don't use Petromat, where you could have also, right? Like you're taking out the Petromat price and the fiber price is
filling that Petromat price in.
So are they about the same?
Fiber is going to run a little bit more than Petromat, but down in the long run, it's going to work out to about the same.
Yeah. Every project is different, so there's use cases for both of them. That's what we're here to help you guys figure out, is where to use it and why.
All right, I'm going to jump to number 6, and this is our last slide. After we'll pull this down when Pat snaps again. This is when your parking lots, I think we've all seen parking lots like this. I'd say this parking lot's pretty hammered. There was a lot on this one. There was a lot more that looked just like this. What would you do to fix that, Seth?
I would bring in dynamite.
Just get rid of all of it.
This parking lot is beyond repair. We need to come in and just get rid of it, assess the subgrade. Because if I'm looking at that, I know the subgrade is hammered. So I'm not expecting good things to see when I get this asphalt out. That's
a good bridgeway into the subgrade, though. I know a question I wanted to ask you is, so if you're going in to say this is in a commercial center, or you're going in somewhere to redo all of this, and we were going to give them a bid to come in and remove all of the asphalt and repave this, how would you know if there's proper subgrade underneath, or besides all the cracking? I'm not sure what I'm asking now.
I think I can kind of follow where you're going with this. To answer your question, you won't know until you pull the asphalt off. Me looking at that picture, I would say 90% that subgrade has failed underneath.
Yeah.
And I would guide whoever's parking lot that is in the direction that you're going to have to replace your subgrade as well, or we're going to have to do a lot of subgrade attention once the asphalt's out.
Yeah, so a lot of time, if it's a larger parking lot or even, some smaller parking lots, 15,000 square feet or so and up, we'll come in there with a grinder and we'll grind out the section of asphalt that we plan on paving. And at that point, we'll take a look and see which sections of subgrade are not good, and then come up with a plan that's going to work best for, one, the timeline that we might be under, two, the money, and see just overall what's going to work best for everybody to keep the project moving, get it done right, and make sure that you get something that's going to last a long time.
So now that we've kind of run through all these ratings, Seth, at what point would a customer or a property owner or somebody who is responsible for these parking lots, at what point would they want to make a phone call to us or to anybody else?
I would say once you get into that the rating of 3, you're going to want to reach out to start getting some help from professionals in the industry. I would say in rating number 1, where it's a brand new parking lot, enjoy it. Sit back and enjoy pulling into your parking lot and how pretty it looks every day. Once you get into rating number 2, these are repairs that you should be able to take care of on your own, or at least make note of to start taking issues with them, basically moving forward with them and getting a plan together. Once you get into that number 3, where we're getting into the crack fill and seal coat, I would recommend that's when you reach out and start getting opinions from professionals in the industry.
Cool.
We know a couple guys.
Yeah. That one caught me off guard. Okay, I think that's a lot of what we had. I had a couple more questions I'd like to ask you, Seth, because I'm interested actually here. What you've been with us 6 years now. What are some of your favorite jobs that we've done as a team that we've completed?
Asphalt is one of those deals where we can go see a different job every day. But there is a handful of jobs that we've done. We completed the defensive driving course at the California Highway Patrol. Really neat job, knowing that the California Highway Patrol is out there learning how to drive on what we paved.
Yeah, the training academy.
The training academy in West Sacramento. Very fun job. We also did a big job removing and replacing a lot of asphalt inside of Cal Expo. Very, very fun job as well. Great people to work for. These are all just types of jobs that I enjoy doing, where we can go kind of make a face for ourselves there for a couple weeks at a time.
Yeah, right now we just finished kind of putting down a few thousand tons of rubberized hot mix asphalt on Fair Oaks Boulevard in Carmichael, and we're about to start doing some street repairs in Rancho Cordova.
To interrupt you there, Pat, he asked me my favorite job. So.
Oh, my bad.
Rubberized asphalt is not a fun job at any times, but it is a great job. I would recommend anybody in the Fair Oaks area drive by and see it. It's a great job.
Perfect. What's your favorite asphalt job?
I would have to say it's one of those first couple that he talked about.
CHP.
The CHP was really cool when we
CHP.
had multiple pavers running at the same time because they didn't want any cold joints. So we would have one paver doing the main line and a second paver sitting waiting to pull, so that everywhere the asphalt is starting, it's touching hot asphalt and it can all mesh together. So there's no cold joints where it can separate over time.
Even they had, it wasn't even just the evasive driving course. It was also the motorcycle training course.
Yeah.
With that, remember that, Seth? Remember that embanked edge that had on it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was an adventure also. But
that
was a good job. Actually, we completed that whole thing in 30 days. So I was pretty impressed with the job you did out there. You did a great job.
We've also done projects with some other companies doing levee roads. I love doing all the levee roads as well.
Yeah, the
trails, beautiful scenery all day. You ride along the river. Mm-hmm. You can't ask for anything better. So yeah, those are some of the better jobs that I like. All
right, so I'm going to fall back real quick. Do we want to talk about damages? What damages can happen? What things to look for?
I mean,
Probably should.
I think we kind of touched on it, but I mean, really, as soon as you start to see cracks
Feel oil
forming
slipping.
or tree roots lifting and
Right.
cracks starting there, or if you've got a lot of excessive fuel and oil spills, I would say the sooner you contact a professional, the better. Stay ahead of it. The earlier you are, the cheaper it's going to be. The longer you wait, the more it's going to grow and become more expansive and expensive.
Yeah. We do. We have these programs in place, like our site assessment programs, where we'll come out and check it out and kind of give you a report of where your parking lot stands. We also have an ale program, which is to help maintain the parking lots, where we'll come out once or twice a year, depending on what you want, to do that crack sealing, to get it all ready, to advise you on when you're going to be ready for a seal coat, just so you keep that going and you're extending that life before you're getting into stage 3 and stage 4. We do these because, and really, it's not for us. It's because we want to bring value to you as a customer. Coming in and doing the crack sealing, I mean, it's really just it's sending some guys around. We check all the parking lots. We do it, but it's really to bring value. We want to extend the lives of your parking lot, and these are kind of things that we brought into place that we've seen gaps in the market that nobody else is doing, but we think that the value is there to people who have these capital investments that they need to protect and take care of and extend the lives of. So we've really done that. You can always talk to us about the ALE program to help the asphalt life extension, the things we can do for that, the site assessment. You can also kind of like you walk your lot yourself and see. You don't have to have us come out if you're not comfortable. But if you're starting to see those cracks, you should at least make a phone call.
You can always take pictures, and I believe on our Facebook, on our Instagram, and on our website, we have links where you can upload pictures and send them to us and get our recommendations pretty quickly and easily without even having to meet us. Or we're definitely open to coming out, taking a look at everything, walking through what we see, and explaining how and why we would do the repairs we would do.
Yeah. So Facebook does not have it yet, I believe, but the website does have a form you can fill out where you can tell us what your concerns are, so we can make sure we get you to the right person, make sure we can get you all the information you need. Instagram, you are correct. And then our email, which is estimating@bm-builders.com. That's bm-builders.com. And please send everything there. Did you say we have a question? Oh, someone's saying nice stuff about us. It must be about Pat. Because
it's the platinum.
Yeah, so I'd say all right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you got some education out of this or some help. Like I said, we're always here. So please reach out. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help out. Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the next episode. Hopefully, I think next week, episode 5 of Paving the Way. Not sure what we'll be talking about yet, but I'm sure it'll be interesting and fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
Seth. It was fun hearing from you. Appreciate it.
Bye.